नमस्कार विद्यार्थी मित्रांनो, स्वागत आहे तुम्हा सर्वांचं आजच्या या ऑनलाईन सेशनमध्ये। तर आज आपण घेऊन आलो आहोत आपल्या अभ्यासक्रमातील ट्रिग्नोमेट्री नावाचा जो चॅप्टर आहे, या चॅप्टरचं बेसिक्स। तर मित्रांनो, जसं की तुम्हाला माहिती आहे, ट्रिग्नोमेट्री चॅप्टर जो आहे तो आपण 9th 10th या स्टँडर्डमध्ये शिकलेलो आहोत आणि तिथे जो पार्ट आपण शिकलेलो आहोत ट्रिग्नोमेट्रीमध्ये तो पार्ट आपल्याला कुठे ना कुठे इकडे कामं येणार आहे। त्यामुळं या ऑनलाईनच्या माध्यमातून आपण जो ट्रिग्नोमेट्रीचा जो बेसिक पार्ट आहे तो आपण शिकणार आहोत। तर बघा मित्रांनो, ट्रिग्नोमेट्री हा जो वर्ड आहे, तर जर आपण या ट्रिग्नोमेट्री शब्दाला जर आपण म्हणजे व्यवस्थित म्हणजे प्रॉपरली जर बघितलं तर हा ट्रिग्नोमेट्री जो वर्ड आहे हा तयार झालेला आहे ट्राय गोनो अँड मेट्रिया अशा या 3 शब्दापासून बनलेला आहे। तर बघा मित्रांनो, हे जे वर्ड आहे ट्राय गोनो अँड मेट्रिया, दीज आर द ग्रीक्स वर्ड्स। हे ग्रीक वर्ड्स आहेत। याचा जो अर्थ आहे, ट्राय मीन्स 3, then gono means sides and metria means measurement। तर 3 side measurement म्हणजे in general we know that 3 sided closed figure is nothing but the triangle। म्हणजे ट्रायंगल 3 sided closed figure असतो आणि कुठे ना कुठे आपल्याला इथं 3 sides मेजरमेंट बद्दल तिथं स्टडी करायचं आहे। तर 3 साइड मेजरमेंट बद्दल आपण स्टडी करत असताना आपण तिथं सांगणार आहोत की जो राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल आहे, या राईट अँगल ट्रायंगललाच आपण हा ट्रिग्नोमेट्रीचा जो कॉन्सेप्ट आहे तो अप्लाय करणार। बिकॉज इन केस ऑफ राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल वी नो दॅट देर आर द 3 साइड्स, द 2 साइड्स आर फॉर्मिंग द राईट अँगल अँड वन ऑफ द साइड विच इज अपोजिट टू द राईट अँगल, दॅट इज ग्रेटर साइड विच इज कॉल्ड हायपोटेनस। तर बघा मित्रांनो, हा जो ट्रिग्नोमेट्री नावाचा जो टॉपिक आहे आपला, या टॉपिकमध्ये जसं की आपण बेसिकमध्ये 9th 10th स्टँडर्डमध्ये शिकलेलो आहोत की या चॅप्टरमध्ये आपल्याला काही ट्रिग्नोमेट्रीचे पर्टिक्युलर रेशो आहेत। तर हे पर्टिक्युलर रेशो जाणून घेण्याच्या अगोदर सगळ्यात पहिला आपण जसं की मी तुम्हाला म्हटलं की ट्रिग्नोमेट्री जो चॅप्टर आहे आपला तो राईट अँगल ट्रायंगलशी तिथं डील करतो, म्हणून आपल्याला राईट अँगल ट्रायंगलची टर्मिनॉलॉजी माहीत असणं गरजेचं आहे। अँगल म्हणजे काय हे देखील आपल्याला माहीत असणं गरजेचं आहे। तर बघा मित्रांनो, अँगल म्हणजे काय, तर इन जनरल जर मी सपोज तुम्हाला म्हटलं की हा माझ्याकडे एक पर्टिक्युलर रे आहे, रे म्हणजे काय असतं हे आपण मागच्या सेशनमध्ये डिस्कस केलेलं आहे। सपोज आय हॅव दिस रे ओबी नावाचा एक रे आहे अँड वेन एव्हर आय एम गोइंग टू रोटेट दिस ओबी रे इन अँटी क्लॉकवाईज डायरेक्शन, ज्या वेळेस या ओबी रेला मी अँटी क्लॉकवाईज डायरेक्शनमध्ये असं टर्न करणार, असं रोटेट करणार, त्यावेळेस काहीतरी पर्टिक्युलर रोटेशन मी असं करणार आणि या पर्टिक्युलर रोटेशनमध्ये हा जो ओबी रे आहे हा या पोझिशनला जाणार आहे। सपोज या पोझिशनला आपण म्हणूया ओ ए, जो ओबी आहे तो ओ ए या पोझिशनला जाणार आहे। म्हणजे ओबी रेने काय केलं आहे, एवढं पर्टिक्युलर जे रिजन आहे तेवढं टर्न केलेलं आहे। तर यामध्ये जो ओबी रे आहे याला आपण इनिशियल रे असं म्हणतो आणि या ओबी रेला आपण टर्न केलं, रोटेट केलं, म्हणजे हा जो आहे आपला दिस इज युअर फायनल आर्म किंवा याला आपण फायनल पोझिशन याची असं म्हणू शकतो। आणि जेव्हा अशा पद्धतीनं हा जो इनिशियल रे आहे याला आपण टर्मिनल रे असं देखील म्हणतो। तर या पर्टिक्युलर रेने जेवढं रोटेशन केलेलं आहे त्या रोटेशनला आपण इन जनरल अँगल असं म्हणतो। सो दिस इज नथिंग बट द अँगल। सो दिस अँगल मीन्स व्हॉट, इट इज द रोटेशन, एक पर्टिक्युलर रोटेशन असणारे एका पर्टिक्युलर रोचं अबाउट सम फिक्स पॉईंट अँड दिस पॉईंट इज कॉल्ड द व्हर्टेक्स ऑफ द अँगल। या पॉईंटला आपण व्हर्टेक्स ऑफ अँगल म्हणतो। हा इनिशियल आर्म असतो किंवा आपण याला इनिशियल रे असं म्हणू। हा फायनल रे आहे, म्हणजे इथपर्यंत हा जो रे आहे तो रोटेट झालेला आहे। आणि बघा मित्रांनो, ज्या वेळेस हा जो आपला टर्मिनल रे आहे किंवा जो इनिशियल रे आहे, हा इनिशियल रे आपला ज्या वेळेस अँटी क्लॉकवाईज डायरेक्शनमध्ये रोटेट होतो तेव्हा आपण जो अँगल आपल्याला भेटतो त्या अँगलला आपण पॉझिटिव्ह अँगल असं म्हणतो। आणि जर तुमच्याकडं हा जो रे आहे, आता मी जर तुम्हाला म्हटलं की हा ओबी रे आहे आणि हा ओबी रे जो आहे तो अँटी क्लॉकवाईज डायरेक्शनमध्ये म्हणजे काउंटर क्लॉकवाईज डायरेक्शनमध्ये जर रोटेट होत असेल, तर काउंटर क्लॉकवाईज डायरेक्शनमध्ये रोटेट झाल्यानंतर इथं जो अँगल आहे याला आपण निगेटिव्ह अँगल असं म्हणतो। तर पॉझिटिव्ह अँगल आणि निगेटिव्ह अँगल हे आपल्याला इथं माहीत असणं गरजेचं आहे। आता मित्रांनो, आपण येऊया आपली टर्मिनॉलॉजी ऑफ राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल। कारण मी तुम्हाला म्हटलं की ट्रिग्नोमेट्रीचा जो आपला कॉन्सेप्ट आहे तो आपण राईट अँगल ट्रायंगलला अप्लाय करणार आहोत, म्हणून आपल्याला इथे राईट अँगल ट्रायंगलची टर्मिनॉलॉजी देखील माहीत असणं गरजेचं आहे। तर बघा मित्रांनो, राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल म्हणजे असा ट्रायंगलची तर व्याख्या आपल्याला माहिती आहे, इट इज अ 3 साइडेड क्लोज फिगर अँड देर आर व्हेरियस टाइप्स ऑफ दिस 3 साइडेड क्लोज फिगर। या 3 साइडेड क्लोज फिगरचे खूप वेगवेगळे असे टाइप्स आहेत। दिस टाइप्स आर ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ मेजरमेंट ऑफ द साइड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ मेजरमेंट ऑफ अँगल. जसं की आपल्याला माहिती आहे की ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ मेजरमेंट ऑफ द साइड्स ट्रायंगल इज क्लासिफाईड ॲज इक्विलॅटरल ट्रायंगल, आयसोसेलस ट्रायंगल अँड स्केलन ट्रायंगल. म्हणजे असा त्रिकोण की ज्याच्यामध्ये सगळ्या तीनही बाजू समान असतात, म्हणजे ऑल थ्री साइड्स आर कॉन्ग्रुएंट, दॅट इज कॉल्ड equilateral triangle. If the two sides out of three, if the only two sides are congruent, then it is called the isosceles triangle. And if all three sides are having different measure, then it is called the scalar triangle. We know all about this, but we are majorly discussing about the types of triangle on the basis of measure of angle. And see my dear friends, on the basis of measure of angle, there are again three types of triangle. So first one is acute angle triangle. Acute angle triangle means the triangle in which all the angles, all three angles are having a measure which is less than 90 degree. असा ट्रायंगल की ज्यामध्ये सगळेचे सगळे तीनही अँगल जे आहेत ते लेस दॅन 90 डिग्री असतील त्याला आपण ॲक्यूट अँगल ट्रायंगल म्हणतो. त्यानंतर येतो आपला राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल. राईट अँगल ट्रायंगलची पण आपल्याला व्याख्या माहिती आहे, ज्याला आपण काटकोन त्रिकोण असं म्हणतो. सो इन केस ऑफ राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल, the only one of the angle out of all those three angles, the only one angle is having a measure of 90 degree, then that triangle is called the right angle triangle. And there is again third type of the triangle which is called the obtuse angle triangle, ज्याला आपण विशाल कोन त्रिकोण असं म्हणतो. And the triangle in which the one of the angle is having a measure of greater than 90 degree. असा ट्रायंगल, असा त्रिकोण की ज्यामध्ये एका अँगलचं मेजरमेंट हे 90 डिग्री पेक्षा जास्त असतं, अशा त्रिकोणाला आपण विशाल कोन त्रिकोण असं म्हणतो. तर हे पण आपण बेसिक जे अर्लियर क्लासेस आहेत आपण त्यामध्ये शिकलेलो आहोत. तर बघा मित्रांनो, आता राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल जो आहे याच्यासोबत आपल्याला डील करायचं आहे. इथे आपल्याला ट्रिग्नोमॅट्रिकचे जे कॉन्सेप्ट्स आहेत ते अप्लाय करायचे आहेत, म्हणून इथे तुम्हाला राईट अँगल ट्रायंगलची जी टर्मिनॉलॉजी आहे ती माहीत असणं गरजेचं आहे. तर बघा मित्रांनो, या राईट अँगल ट्रायंगलच्या टर्मिनॉलॉजीमध्ये जसं की मी तुम्हाला म्हटलं की राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल जो आहे याचं मेजरमेंट जे आहे, वन ऑफ द अँगल इज हॅव्हिंग अ मेजर ऑफ 90 डिग्री. तर 90 डिग्री मेजरमेंट एका अँगलचं असलं पाहिजे. तर बघा आता या राईट अँगल ट्रायंगलमध्ये सपोज आय एम गोइंग टू गिव्ह द नेम टू दिस राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल. सी, दिस इज अ राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल, अँड इन दिस राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल I am going to give the name to this right angle triangle, that is triangle ABC. And see my dear friend, in case of this right angle triangle, this side BC and this side AB are the sides which are forming the right angle. Right angle means 90 degree. बघा या ठिकाणी आपल्याला 90 अंशाचा कोन दिसत आहे, 90 डिग्री असा अँगल दिसत आहे. आणि या 90 डिग्री अँगल कोणामुळे फॉर्म होत आहे, तर 90 डिग्री अँगल या दोन साइड्समुळे BC आणि AC या दोन साइड्समुळे फॉर्म होत आहे. तर त्यामुळे आपण या दोन साइड्सला म्हणतो दीज आर द साइड्स विच आर फॉर्मिंग द राईट अँगल ट्रायंगल. And out of these are the two sides which are forming the right angle triangle, and out of these two sides, these two sides, this BC is nothing but the base. या BC साइडला आपण बेस असं म्हणतो. त्याच्यानंतर हा जो AC आहे या AC ला आपण हाईट असं म्हणतो. दिस इज कॉल्ड हाईट. दिस BC is nothing but the base. And the side which is opposite to right angle, which is greater side, because we have studied in earlier classes the side opposite to greater angle is greater. And in case of this right angle triangle, obviously this angle B is greater than the remaining two angle, that is angle A and angle C. Because again we know the sum of all angle of triangle is 180 degree. The angles of triangle are supplementary, which means that this sum of angle A, angle B and angle C is 90 degree. And if is 180 degree. And if out of these 180 degree, the sum 180 degree, and out of the 180 degree, if one of the angle is 90, then the sum of remaining two is 90, which means that obviously this angle A and angle C are the angles which is having a measure less than 90 degree. Now suppose my dear friends, I am going to tell you that this is the side AC. So this side AC is the side which is opposite to this 90 degree angle. And as we have studied, the side opposite to greater angle is greater, so which means that this is the greater side, and which is called the hypotenuse. This side is called what? Hypotenuse. So, and these A, B, C, these are the we can say these are the vertices, because see this BC and AC are the sides in which is having only one common point, that is A. So this A is the vertex, B is again vertex, C is again vertex. and so we may call these A, B, C are the vertices of triangle, this BC as the base of the triangle, this AB as the height of triangle, and this AC as the hypotenuse of this triangle. So this is basically all about the terminology of right angle triangle. Okay, now I am going to consider this angle is theta. Suppose I am going to suppose that the angle C is having a measure of theta. If the angle C is having a measure of theta, then this angle is having a measure of 90 minus theta. How it came? Because we know the sum of all angle is 180. And see here, suppose angle A plus angle B plus angle C, this is equal to 180 degree. And out of this, we know that we don't know this measure. We don't know about this measure A, because we have just supposed this angle C is theta. Now I am going to tell you how this is 90 minus theta. See my dear friends, this angle A is as it is. Now angle B is 90 degree. This angle B is having a measure of 90 degree. So I am going to write here 90 degree plus angle C is having a measure of theta, and this is equal to 180. Now see, this 90 degree and theta are the plus on the left hand side. So I am going to shift this 90 degree and theta on the right hand side, and whenever they are going to the right hand side, then they will become the negative. So I am going to write this 180, this 90 becomes negative on the right side, and theta is also become negative on the right side. So I will get that angle A is equal to this 180 minus 90 is 90, and this is minus theta. So that is why I have written over here this angle is 90 minus theta. So we have the clarity about this. Suppose whenever we are going to suppose any one of the angle out of these two as theta, then the remaining is 90 minus theta. Now see my dear friends, as you know, there are 6 ratios in the trigonometry, and these ratios are nothing but the first ratio is sine ratio, then second ratio is the cosine ratio, then next one is sine ratio, cosine ratio, then third one is tangent ratio, then fourth one is cotangent ratio, then next one is, after that we know the reciprocal of sine as cosec ratio, sec ratio, and then cosec ratio. Okay, so it is called second ratio, and last one is cosecant ratio. So basically we are writing this sine ratio as SINE, sine. Then this next ratio is we may write it as cos. This is sine, this is cos, this one is tan. So it can be written as tan ratio. Then the next ratio is written as cot ratio. This is nothing but the cot. Then the next one is sec ratio. This is sec, and this one is cosec. So these are the 6 ratios in the trigonometry, and we know about all these ratios. Now we are going to define all these ratios of this all these trigonometric ratios with the help of this right angle triangle. And now see my dear friends, as I would like to tell you, the concept of trigonometry is firstly introduced by the Hipparchus. So that's why Hipparchus is called the father of trigonometry. Hipparchus is the father of trigonometry. He introduced the concept of trigonometry in the earlier. Okay, so this sine ratio is nothing but what? So the sine ratio is nothing but the opposite. Suppose now I am going to find this sine ratio for the particular angle. So I am going to find this sine ratio for this angle C, and we have considered this angle C as theta. So now I am going to write over here sine theta. So this sine ratio is nothing but the side opposite to this angle theta, side opposite to angle theta divided by hypotenuse, side opposite to angle theta divided by hypotenuse. And see, the side opposite to angle theta is AB. So this will be AB upon hypotenuse is AC. So it becomes AC. So this AB upon AC, this is nothing but the sine theta. This is the sine of the ratio for the angle theta. So we have to remember that the sine ratio is nothing but sine of the particular angle is nothing but the side opposite to that angle divided by hypotenuse, and this ratio is called the sine theta, or we may call the sine ratio. Okay, now the second one is cos ratio, and see whenever we are discussing about the cos ratio, then again we are going to find the cos ratio for this particular angle theta, and see this cos theta is nothing but the side adjacent to, means adjacent side adjacent to angle theta divided by hypotenuse. And again see here the side adjacent to theta is nothing but the BC. Adjacent means what? The side which is very close to or which is near to this angle theta, and as we are seeing that this side BC is the side which is the adjacent to the theta. So that's why I am going to write here this side is BC divided by hypotenuse. So hypotenuse is again AC, so it is same. So this is BC upon AC. So this is nothing but the cos ratio. Now the next one is tan ratio, tangent ratio. So tangent ratio means what? So again it is the ratio of the two sides of this right angle triangle, but those two sides are which are the two sides? So this tan ratio. So again we are going to apply this tan ratio for the particular angle theta, and now I am going to write the ratio. See this tan theta is nothing but the side opposite to angle theta divided by side adjacent to angle theta, means opposite side upon adjacent side for this particular angle theta. And now as we are seeing that this side opposite to angle theta, again this side is AB and the side adjacent to angle theta is BC. So this is AB upon BC. तर अशा पद्धतीने आपल्याला हा this is AB, so this is AB upon BC. तर अशा पद्धतीने आपल्याला हा tan रेशो भेटणार आहे. तर हे साइन रेशो, कॉस रेशो आणि टॅन रेशो हे बेसिक ट्रिग्नोमेट्रीचे जे रेशो आहेत हे आपण मागील इयत्तेत आपण शिकलेलो आहोत, याचे आपल्याला माहिती असणं गरजेचं आहे. आता जे राहिलेले रेशो आहेत आपले, जसं की कॉट रेशो आहे, सेक रेशो आहे, कोसेक रेशो आहे, तर these ratios are nothing but the reciprocal of all these above ratios. तर कॉट रेशो जो आहे, दिस कॉट इज नथिंग बट द रेसिप्रोकल ऑफ दिस टॅन. या टॅन रेशोचा रेसिप्रोकल असतो. तर याला लिहिताना आपण इथं सांगू शकतो, आता कॉट म्हणजे रेसिप्रोकल आहे, म्हणजे कॉट थिटा हा टॅनचा रेसिप्रोकल आहे. कॉट म्हणजे, तर टॅनचा रेसिप्रोकल म्हणजे याला उलट करायचं आहे आपल्याला. तर हा येणार आहे साइड ॲडजसेंट टू अँगल थिटा डिवायडेड बाय साइड अपोजिट टू अँगल थिटा. साइड अपोजिट टू अँगल थिटा म्हणजे ॲडजसेंट साइड अपॉन अपोजिट साइड. सो दिस इज नथिंग बट द cot ratio. Okay, now I am going to write this cot ratio over here because we have this right angle triangle and we know the side adjacent side, we know the opposite side. So that's why we are going to write here the side adjacent to theta is BC and the side opposite to theta, this side is AB. So this is BC upon AB. So this is nothing but the cot ratio. Now the next one is sec ratio. So again we are going to find this sec ratio for the particular angle theta. And now whenever I am going to tell you that this sec ratio is the reciprocal of what? This is the reciprocal of cos. And if the sec ratio is the reciprocal of cos, then one can write this ratio hypotenuse divided by reciprocal of this cos. So reciprocal of this cos means what? This hypotenuse is in denominator, so it becomes in it goes in numerator, and this numerator side adjacent to theta, it comes to the denominator. Okay, now I am going to write this hypotenuse upon side adjacent to angle theta. So we know the hypotenuse is AC for this particular triangle and the side adjacent to theta, that is BC. So it will be AB upon BC, and simultaneously we can also write this as, we know this AB upon BC is what? This is the reciprocal. इसका तो ये उल्टा दिख रहा है, तो this is 1 by cos theta. So we can write it as 1 by cos theta. So 1 by cos theta is nothing but the reciprocal of, so sorry, this reciprocal of this cos is nothing but the sec, or one can say the reciprocal of sec is nothing but the cos, because we are seeing that the inverse proportion looks like over there. So that's why we can write like this. Again we may write over here this cot is nothing but what? This is BC upon AB. And this tan is what? This is AB upon BC, means this, again these two are the reciprocal of each other. So we can write this tan, this cot theta as 1 by tan theta. So whenever we are going to put the value of this tan theta from over here and we are going to simplify it, then we will get this result. So that's why I am going to write this cot theta is nothing but the 1 by tan theta. Now the next one is cosecant ratio, and see again we are going to write this cosec ratio for the particular angle theta. And as you all know, this cosec ratio is the reciprocal of what? This is the reciprocal of sine. So we may write it as the reciprocal of sine is what? So hypotenuse goes in numerator. So it becomes hypotenuse divided by this side opposite to angle theta. This comes in the denominator. So it becomes side opposite to angle theta. So we may write it as AC upon AB. So one can also write it as 1 by sine theta. So these are the basic ratios of trigonometry. These all 6 are the ratios in the trigonometry, and we know all about this. So first we have to remember all these things, because whenever we are going to study the trigonometry chapter in our syllabus, then at that time we know all about these ratios. And after studying these ratios, we have again studied about the relation among these ratios. So these 6 ratios are having the relation among each other, and in short we will discuss about the relation among these ratios. And now see, my dear friends, now we will discuss the relation within 5 to 10 minutes. See, the relation between these ratios are nothing but, see, we may write this sine ratio as 1 by cosec, then again cos ratio as 1 by sec, and again we may write this tan ratio as 1 by cot ratio. So these are the relation. Now see, my dear friends, you know basically all about this, all 6 trigonometric ratios. So that's why I am going to find out the relation, and in order to find out the relation, I can again write these ratios for this particular angle theta, sine ratio, cos ratio, tan ratio. So you can tell me the values in this comment box. You can tell me whenever I am going to ask you what is the sine of the angle theta, or what is the sine of the angle 90 minus theta, then you can write your answer in the comment section, and let's see how how among you do this correct. See, the next is relation between the trigonometric ratios. Relation between trigonometric ratios. And see, in order to find out the relation between trigonometric ratios, so in order to find out the relation between trigonometric ratios, as I told you, I am going to write this sine of the angle theta. Suppose I am going to find out the sine theta. Then as we have discussed, the sine ratio is what? This is the side opposite to theta. So this is the side which is opposite to theta. So we may write this as opposite side of theta, opposite side of angle theta. This is nothing but the adjacent side of angle theta. This is adjacent side of angle theta, and this one is hypotenuse. Now I am going to write all the 6 trigonometric ratio for this particular angle theta. So initially I am going to write this sine ratio for angle theta. So it becomes opposite side of the angle theta divided by hypotenuse. So opposite upon hypotenuse. So see, this opposite side for this angle theta is AB and hypotenuse is AC. So it becomes AB upon AC. Now again I am going to write the second one is cos ratio for the angle theta. So we know that this cos theta is again adjacent upon hypotenuse, and we know the adjacent side of angle theta is BC. So it becomes BC and hypotenuse is AC. Now we are going to write the tan ratio for this angle. So tan theta, again tan theta is what? So we know it is again opposite side upon adjacent side for this particular angle theta. And now see here, the opposite side of angle theta is AB and adjacent side for this angle theta is BC. So it becomes AB upon BC. Now the next ratio is cosec ratio. We can write it as in this order or in this manner. So cosec is nothing but what? We know this cosec is the reciprocal of sine theta. So it is the reciprocal of sine theta, means which becomes hypotenuse upon opposite side. So it is hypotenuse upon opposite side. And this hypotenuse is AC, opposite side of angle theta is AB. So we may write this as AC upon AB. Now the next trigonometric ratio is our sec ratio, that is sec theta. And whenever I am going to write the sec, so it is the reciprocal of cos. So that's why it becomes hypotenuse upon adjacent side of the angle theta. So again hypotenuse is AC over here and adjacent side of this angle theta is BC. And the last one is the cot ratio. And see, if we are going to write the cot ratio, then again this cot is the reciprocal of tan. So it becomes adjacent side upon opposite side of this angle theta. and the side adjacent to theta is BC, and the side adjacent opposite to this angle theta is AB. So it becomes AB upon BC. So these all are the 6 trigonometric ratios for this particular angle theta. Now my dear friends, I am going to find this 6 ratio for this angle 90 minus theta. So we have find out these ratios for the angle theta. Now in the same way, with the same formula of all these, we are going to find out this particular ratio, all these 6 ratio for the angle 90 minus theta. Means instead of theta, there will be a 90 minus theta. Now see, I am going to write my first ratio, and see, whenever we are going to consider this angle 90 minus theta, then sine is what? Sine ratio is what? It is the side opposite to this 90 minus theta divided by hypotenuse. So that's why we are going to write here, this is opposite side. This BC is what? Opposite side for angle 90 minus theta. So this BC is nothing but the opposite side for angle 90 minus theta, and this AB, this is the adjacent side. This becomes adjacent side for angle 90 minus theta. And now we are going to apply the sine ratio for this 90 minus theta angle. So now I am going to write the sine of 90 minus theta, and whenever I am going to write the sine of 90 minus theta, see then how it becomes. Sine of 90 minus theta is equal to the definition, the ratio is same. Again, it is opposite side upon hypotenuse, but the opposite side is for which angle? So this is for angle 90 minus theta. And see, whenever we are going to see the sine of the 90 minus theta, then this angle is will be this angle. And now see, the side opposite to this 90 minus theta is BC. So it becomes BC, and hypotenuse remains same as it is AC. So it becomes it becomes BC upon AC. Now we are going to write the second ratio, which is cos of 90 minus theta. So again we know that this cos ratio is adjacent side of 90 minus theta divided by hypotenuse, and the adjacent side of 90 minus theta is this one. See, this is the adjacent side for 90 minus theta, so it will be AB, and hypotenuse is same, it is AC. So it becomes AB upon AC. So it will be AB upon AC. Now I am going to write the next ratio, that is tan of 90 minus theta, and tan of 90 minus theta, again we know the tan ratio is opposite side upon adjacent side, and it becomes it remains same, means opposite side upon adjacent side, but this opposite side is for 90 minus theta angle, and this adjacent side is for 90 minus theta angle. So that's why look into this 90 minus theta angle, and whenever we are going to look for this 90 minus theta angle, then the side opposite side of this 90 minus theta is this one. This one is the opposite side. So this is BC. So BC upon, it becomes BC upon adjacent side for this 90 minus theta is this one, this AB. So it becomes BC upon AB. So it will be like this. Now after that, the next one is cosec ratio. And whenever I am going to write the cosec ratio, then it is the reciprocal of this sine. So it is hypotenuse upon opposite side. Hypotenuse upon opposite side, and this ratio is for which angle? So this ratio is for 90 minus theta angle. So we are going to write this as cosec 90 minus theta. And we know the hypotenuse is same, that is AC, divided by opposite side. So opposite side for what? This 90 minus theta. So it becomes BC. So it is AC upon BC. Now the next one is sec of 90 minus theta, and whenever we are going to write the sec 90 minus theta, then again we know that the sec is the reciprocal of cos, so it becomes hypotenuse upon adjacent side of angle 90 minus theta, and again hypotenuse is same for this particular angle, so it is AC divided by adjacent side is what? Adjacent side for this 90 minus theta is AB. So it is AC upon AB, and the last one is your cot ratio. So this is cot theta. So cot of 90 minus theta. Again, whenever we are going to write this cot ratio for the angle 90 minus theta, then again we know this cot is the reciprocal of tan, and it becomes adjacent side of 90 minus theta divided by opposite side of 90 minus theta. And the adjacent side of this angle 90 minus theta is again AB, and this opposite side for this particular 90 minus theta is BC. So it becomes BC. So these are the all 6 trigonometric ratios. I have written all these trigonometric ratio for the particular angle theta, and again I have written the same ratio for this angle 90 minus theta. Now my dear friends, our heading is relation between trigonometric ratio, and whenever we look into all these 6 ratios for this particular angle theta as well as this angle 90 minus theta, then we will get that this cos of 90 minus theta is nothing but AB upon BC, and again see this sin theta is again this is AB upon BC, and whenever we look into these 2 ratios, then they looks like same. The right hand side of both these ratios are same. This is AB upon BC, this is again AB upon BC, which means that this sin theta is equal to what? Cos of 90 minus theta. So this is our first relation among these 2 trigonometric ratio, which is sin and cos. So this sin theta can be written as cos of 90 minus theta. So this is the first trigonometric relation between the sin and cos. So sin theta is equal to cos of 90 minus theta. In the same way, whenever we look into these 2, this sin of 90 minus theta, this is BC upon AC, and again this cos of theta is BC upon AC, and whenever we look into these 2, then these 2 become same. These 2 looks like same. So again we can write this cos theta is equal to what? Sin of 90 minus theta, because see, this cos theta is BC upon AC, this sin theta is BC upon AC, and whenever we are going to see that the right hand side of these both ratios are equal, then we can directly equate the left hand side, and we are going to write the second relation, that is cos theta is equal to sin of 90 minus theta. Now see my dear friends, whenever we look into the third one, that is this one. So this tan of 90 minus theta is AB upon AC, and again see this again see this tan theta is AB upon BC, and whenever we are going to see this ratio, see this is opposite upon adjacent for this particular angle theta. Okay, this is okay. Now see here, we have written this tan of 90 minus theta. So tan is opposite upon adjacent, and this opposite side is BC, adjacent side is AB. Sorry, you have to make correction for this. This is AB. So this adjacent side is AB, and whenever we look into these 2 ratios for this tan ratio for the angle theta as well as 90 minus theta, then we will get that these 2 are the reciprocal of each other. See, this is AB upon BC and this is BC upon AB, means they are the reciprocal of each other, which means that this tan is the reciprocal of tan of 90 minus theta. So we can write from these 2 relation, this tan theta is equal to 1 upon tan of 90 minus theta, or we can also write this as tan theta into tan of 90 minus theta, this is equal to 1. So this is the relation among tan theta and tan of 90 minus theta. Again, whenever we are going to see the same for this again, whenever we are going to see this ratio, this sin ratio and cos ratio, then we will get the relation between this sin and cos. Again, whenever we are going to see this cos and sec, then we will get the relation among these 2 ratios. Again, whenever we look into this tan and cot, again we will get these relations. So these are nothing but the relation. Again, we can write one more relation over here. Whenever we are going to divide this sin ratio and cos ratio, this is sin theta and cos theta, then how it will become? See, suppose now I am going to take the ratio of this sin and cos for this particular angle theta. So I am going to write here sin theta divided by cos theta, and see this sin ratio is what for this angle theta? This is AB upon AC. So we can write it as AB upon AC divided by this cos ratio for the angle theta. This cos theta is BC upon AC. So this is BC upon AC, and see this AC get cancelled because this AC is divided to this AB, and again this AC is divided to BC. So both will cancel, and we can write this as AB upon BC. So this is AB upon BC, and we know this AB upon BC is what? This AB upon BC is the tan ratio. So we can write it as tan theta. So this becomes tan theta, means sin theta upon cos theta is the tan theta. This is again the relation among sin, cos and tan ratio. Okay, so these all are the relation among the trigonometric ratios, my dear friends. And whenever we know all about these things, then we can easily understand the upcoming things in the upcoming subtopics in our trigonometry chapter. Okay, so after this we have again studied some basic trigonometric ratios for some particular angles like 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, then again 60 degree, 90 degree. So we will discuss all those ratios for the particular angles in the upcoming lecture. So you have to write all those things in your notebook, and you have to remember all those things, because these are the very most important things. So while studying the concepts of trigonometry, so this chapter is very important, not only as per our syllabus point of view, but in our engineering field, this trigonometry has a wider range of applications. So we will discuss all those applications in the upcoming sessions, in the upcoming lectures, or we can also discuss all those things in the our offline as well as online sessions. So my dear friends, so you have to write all these things. Now the next remaining portion or the upcoming part of this, we will study all these things in the upcoming section. So best of luck, good night, happy Diwali to all of you.